leaders managed to reach an agreement on an embargo on the purchase of Russian oil. The ban applies to the import of 90% of the raw material by the end of the year.
I'm very glad that the leaders were able to agree in principle on the six sanctions package. This is very important. Thanks to this, Council should now be able to finalize a ban on almost 90% of all Russian oil imports by the end of the year. This is an important step forward.
After lengthy discussions yesterday, we finally reached an agreement, and I was positively surprised because when we went into the room, the signs were not that great, but everybody was very constructive, and I'm happy that we reached the agreement. But of course, we also have to discuss already the seventh package, because things are not going any better in Ukraine, and as long as the war is going on.
10% of Russian oil imports, for which an exemption from the sanctions has been established, concern the southern section of the Druzhba pipeline, through which the raw material goes to Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. The most important news is that we have secured and reduced energy bills for our citizens. We managed to block a Commission proposal that would ban the use of Russian oil in Hungary. And without that, we have enough problems. Energy prices have soared, inflation is high, and because of sanctions, Europe is on the brink of an economic crisis. The cooperation of the European community means not only hitting the Kremlin with sanctions, but also helping Ukraine. Without coordinated action, it will not be possible to bring the war to an end.
I think the important news is that the European Union is still united in its purpose. The purpose is to stop Russia's aggressive war in Ukraine. We have two tools with which to do that. One is to support Ukraine militarily, economically, and the second is through the isolation of Putin's economy via sanctions. And yesterday we agreed on the sixth sanction round, which includes oil. It will cut about 2/3 of Russia's oil exports to the EU, which means 2/3 of the monies that we send to Russia will no longer be sent. And this is very, very good news indeed. The stronger the sanctions, the quicker the war will end.
The embargo on the purchase of Russian oil is only one of the important aspects in the fight against Russian aggression. Another key issue is the departure from gas, which Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has already mentioned many times. We agreed that it was necessary not only to abandon Russian fossil fuels as soon as possible, but also to reformulate the energy and climate policy so that it would reflect the challenges of modern times. This is, in short, to not pretend that there is no war in Ukraine and that we are only concerned with the climate. I think that the comments I made yesterday after midnight have also been well read by the vast majority of countries. Another important topic that international organizations need to deal with as quickly as possible is the food crisis. During the second day of the summit in Brussels, EU leaders wondered, amongst others, how to import over 20 million tons of Ukrainian grain and oil crops blocked by Russia.
The fundamental issue in Somalia and in the Horn at the moment is a climate-induced crisis. Right, it's drought. But where the effects of the Ukraine crisis come in is that the food prices and fuel prices and others are hiked up to a point where we need more resources to secure what we would have secured before. We need a lot more.
The war in Ukraine could kill millions of people around the world due to hunger. The food crisis existed before the pandemic. The coronavirus has worsened the situation, and now following the Russian invasion, there will be a shortage of tens of millions of tons of grain on the global market. These shortages will hit the poorest countries the most, especially in Africa.